Relax, no one's coming, my sister texted minutes before my wedding. We're at my engagement dinner instead. I said my vows alone. Then sent one link at 3 a.m. Can you imagine standing there on your wedding day, ready to marry the love of your life, only to realize your entire family has chosen to skip it, not for an emergency, but for another party they threw for my sister, and then charged it all to my credit card? The betrayal hit me like a physical blow, leaving me staring at 47 empty chairs, wondering how it all came to this. So, let me set the scene. My name's David. I'm 33, just a regular IT contractor, mostly helping small businesses. Nothing glamorous, but it gave me enough freedom and a comfortable life. I've never been the life of the party, you know? Definitely not the family favorite. That title, it always belonged to my younger sister, Rachel. She was the golden child, charismatic, beautiful, always the center of attention at family dinners. I was the one who got asked to fix the Wi-Fi, and honestly, that was fine. I never craved the spotlight. All I ever truly wanted was a little peace. Last year, I finally proposed to Jenna, my girlfriend of 4 years. And man, she's pure goodness. The kind of person who writes thank you notes to baristas, who brings extra snacks on road trips just in case. She's my soulmate. She said yes, through happy tears, and we started planning. We pictured a small wedding, maybe 50 people, close friends, immediate family. A beautiful little vineyard about an hour out of the city. Nothing extravagant, just intimate and us. My parents, though? They weren't exactly thrilled it wasn't a church wedding. And Rachel just had to make a snide remark, so, you're doing a picnic wedding? How cute. I let it go. Like I always did. It was my pattern. Our plan was simple. Ceremony at 4 p.m., dinner as the sun set. My best friend, Jake, was handling the music. Jenna's cousin, bless her, did the flowers. Rachel was supposed to be our VIP, helping set up early with Mom. Dad had even agreed to walk Jenna down the aisle, since her own father passed a few years back. 50 chairs were rented, ready for our guests. That morning, Jenna was in the bridal suite, radiant. Me? I was pacing in my own little prep room, watching the clock tick by. 3:30, then 3:45. My family? Nowhere. By 3:55, I was sweating through my shirt, a knot forming in my stomach. I texted Rachel, "Hey, you guys on your way?" I saw the read receipt pop up. A minute went by. Felt like an eternity. Then, her reply, "Relax. No one's coming." My mind just froze. I reread it, not even comprehending. Then another text buzzed in, "We're all at my engagement dinner instead." A cold, hollow ache spread through my chest. What, just 2 minutes later, another notification. This one from Mom, "By the way, I used your card. All $5,100. Pop some more on it." I didn't reply. I couldn't. I just stood there, blinking, feeling my world tilt. Just then, the officiant poked his head in, a nervous smile on his face. "Are we ready to begin, David?" I swallowed hard, nodded. "We are." That night, I stood there, saying my vows to Jenna, in front of 47 empty chairs. Not at 3 a.m. then, but later, in my head, the image burned forever. I didn't know what to do that very moment, what to say. After the ceremony, after the forced smiles, later, much later, at 3 a.m., something in me snapped. I sent a single, chilling message to the family group chat, "You'll want to watch this before Grandpa sees it." I attached a video link. Then, I finally went to sleep. But before I tell you about that, let me rewind a bit. You need to understand how we got here. Rachel, she'd always been the absolute center of our family's universe. Since we were kids, it was these little, insidious things. I'd get an A on a test, and Rachel would get a beaming smile, and "Oh, you're just so smart." If I somehow pulled a B+, it was "Maybe try harder next time, David." When I fixed Mom's perpetually broken laptop, I was just doing what David always does. But when Rachel updated her Instagram bio, Mom would call her and gush about it for 40 minutes. 40 minutes. By the time we were adults, it wasn't subtle anymore, not even a little. Rachel got a marketing job at some trendy boutique PR firm downtown. Me? I landed a solid, long-term contract doing back-end systems for a medical supply company. Mine paid better, had actual benefits, real responsibility. But guess who got the big family celebration dinner with champagne and toasts? Not the guy fixing servers, I can tell you that much. And the money, the money part got tricky fast. Rachel just got used to everyone bailing her out. She maxed out her first credit card at 23. Dad, being dad, just paid it off, to protect her credit. She got fired from her second job for skipping too many days. Mom called it a toxic work culture. And then, she wanted to lease a luxury SUV despite her entry-level salary. Guess who co-signed that loan? Yeah, you guessed it, me. It's just for a year, she'd promised. Until I get promoted. That was 4 years ago. She never got promoted. And I was still getting the statements. Every single one. It wasn't like I had money to burn, you know? I made a decent income, sure, but I was careful with it. I lived in a modest apartment, drove my beat-up 10-year-old Honda, cooked almost all my meals at home. Every extra penny? It went straight into savings, with a mental sticky note: this is for Jenna, for our house, for our wedding, for our life together. Jenna knew about the money drama with Rachel. She wasn't thrilled, to put it mildly. But I kept telling her, it's just family, honey. They'll come around. They have to. And she believed me. God, how I wish she hadn't. My parents? They treated Jenna like she was fine. Not amazing, not a new daughter, just there. Dad would constantly forget her name when telling stories, and Mom once, at Thanksgiving, asked her if she was still doing the bakery thing, even though Jenna had been a project coordinator at a publishing firm for 2 years. Rachel, naturally, just soaked it all in. She always needed to be the prettiest, the most successful, the most beloved in the room. Every time Jenna wore something cute, Rachel would subtly sneer. Every time Jenna mentioned a work success, Rachel would immediately change the subject. Just this cold, subtle, corrosive stuff, all the time. Then came the engagement. I told my parents first. They were polite. Congratulations, Mom said. That's nice. Rachel's response? Wait, you proposed before telling me? That's rude, David. Rude, I brushed it off, of course. When we started planning, we really envisioned something small, no church, no crazy traditions, just simple vows, a beautiful sunset dinner. Rachel, naturally, called it a Pinterest fantasy. Mom kept trying to subtly twist it. Are you sure you don't want your father to do a toast? He's walking her down the aisle, isn't that enough? Jenna, God bless her, always tried to keep the peace. Let's just be kind, she'd say. It's just one day. I should have known better. I really should have. Especially when Rachel offered to handle the wedding cake. We sent her $480 from our wedding fund to place the order. Weeks later, I asked her about it. Oh yeah, it's ordered, she claimed. Then one night, Jenna found an email invoice. Rachel hadn't ordered a cake. She'd refunded the money and spent it on a spa day with her friends. She didn't even deny it. Look, I was stressed, she said, as if that justified it. And honestly, no one eats cake at weddings, just get cupcakes or whatever. This was 2 months before the ceremony. I should have uninvited her right then and there. But I didn't. Because I was still clinging to this desperate fantasy that my family, my dysfunctional, selfish, oblivious family, would somehow, magically, come through on the day that mattered most. Then came the dress drama. Rachel showed up to Jenna's bridal shower wearing white. Not cream, not off-white. I'm talking full-on, blinding bridal white, sweetheart neckline, matching shoes, the whole 9 yards. Everyone noticed. Jenna, bless her heart, said nothing. She smiled, greeted guests, handed out party favors like everything was perfectly normal. But when we got home that night, she just collapsed. She cried in the bathroom for half an hour. I just wanted one day, she sobbed. Just one day where I wasn't made to feel invisible. I sat on the other side of that door, feeling like the biggest, most useless idiot on the planet. We were 2 weeks from the wedding, and deep down, I think I already knew. I knew something would go wrong. I just never, ever imagined it would be this bad. The morning of the wedding started so quietly, almost too quiet. I woke up at 6 a.m., sunlight streaming through the hotel blinds. Jenna was already up, sitting on the floor in her robe, scribbling away in a notebook. She looked so serene, so peaceful, completely focused. She just smiled when I stirred. "Writing your vows?" I whispered. She nodded, almost done. I kissed her shoulder, told her I'd give her space, and slipped out for coffee. I figured I'd head to the venue early, help with chairs, do one last check, just normal groom stuff, you know? The whole drive there, I kept repeating to myself, everything will be fine. Everything will be fine. At 10 a.m., my phone buzzed. It was Mom. "Hey, just a heads up. Rachel said there might be a delay. Don't worry." I didn't think much of it. Rachel being late? That was just Rachel. Hair, makeup, drama, the usual. I texted back, "Okay, see you all by 3. No response. By 2:30, guests were arriving. Jenna's amazing friends, my college buddy Jake who'd driven 4 hours to be there. The officiant had set up under this beautiful vine-covered arch. Jenna's cousin finished the flowers. Everything looked perfect, except the bride was still tucked away, and my side of the chairs, the ones reserved for my family, were completely, utterly empty. No Mom, no Dad, no Rachel. A cold dread began to creep in. I walked behind the venue, phone in hand, and sent my sister a desperate text, "ETA?" A minute later, I saw the typing bubble. My heart hammered. Then, her message popped up, "Relax. No one's coming." I stared at it, frozen, like it was some cruel joke. My thumb hovered over the screen, unable to process. Then another message, confirming the nightmare, "We're all at my engagement dinner instead." The words just didn't compute. I read them 5 times, feeling my chest seize up. Then Mom chimed in. Her text, "By the way, I used your card. All $5,100. Pop some more on it." I didn't know how to respond. All I could manage was understood. Then I just walked back out to the main area. The officiant was looking around nervously. "David," he asked, "are we?" "We're ready," I said. "Start." So, I stood there, up front, completely alone. And then Jenna walked down the aisle, all grace and poise, a breathtaking vision. She was smiling like nothing in the world was wrong, like her groom hadn't just been utterly abandoned by his entire family, like we weren't about to say our vows in front of 47 lovely guests and 47 glaringly empty chairs. She said, "I do." And I said it back, my voice surprisingly steady. Everyone clapped. The photographer took pictures that, on the surface, looked absolutely beautiful. No one talked about the half-empty room. We cut the cake, the one Jenna had frantically ordered last minute when she realized Rachel never replaced the one she'd stolen money for. We danced. My college friend gave a heartfelt speech. Jenna's uncle played the piano. At 9 p.m., the party finally wound down. We drove back to our hotel in complete silence. In the car, she reached for my hand and just squeezed it, her touch a lifeline. "I'm sorry," she whispered. I couldn't say anything back. Not because I was angry at her, never at her. But because in that moment, I knew. Something inside me had finally, completely shattered. It was like a switch flipped, a dam broke. All the hurt, all the neglect, all the times I'd been ignoring it for years, it finally cracked all the way through. On my wedding day, of all days, they chose her again. When we got back to our room, Jenna quietly went to wash off her makeup. I just sat on the edge of the bed, staring at my phone, a zombie. Rachel had already posted a picture on Instagram. Her and her fiancé, beaming at a rooftop bar, engaged, balloons everywhere. And there, in the background, glasses raised, matching smiles? My parents. My stomach churned. I just kept staring at that photo. I didn't cry. I didn't throw my phone against the wall. I just felt cold. A profound, icy coldness. Then, I opened my laptop. See, what Rachel didn't know, what none of them knew, was about my little hobby. Just a small YouTube channel I'd started during lockdown, tech tutorials, funny skits, even some personal vlogs. It wasn't huge, but over the years, it had picked up some steam. One of my videos, a fix for some obscure Windows bug, had actually gone mildly viral. I had 68,000 subscribers. Enough for some decent side income, enough to give me a platform. So, that night, at 2:53 a.m., still in my rumpled wedding clothes, tie loose, face utterly blank, I spoke into the camera. I told the story. Not dramatically, not yelling, just the raw, unvarnished facts. Today was supposed to be my wedding. My family didn't show. They were at my sister's engagement dinner instead. My mom used my card to pay for it. I made it clear, this isn't about revenge. It's about clarity. It's about years of being second best. About watching my sister bend the truth, take advantage, cross every single boundary, and get rewarded for it. It's about being told to keep the peace so many times that I forgot I had a right to be angry. I ended the video with a simple, chilling message: I'm done. This is the last time I let them take from me. I uploaded it privately. Then, I sent that single, quiet message to the family group chat: you'll want to watch this before Grandpa sees it. No emojis, no threats, just the link. Then I shut off my phone and finally crawled into bed beside Jenna. That was the first night in years I slept straight through until morning. I woke up to 53 missed notifications. 53. The video just exploded. I honestly never expected that. Turns out, when you tag a post, my family skipped my wedding for my sister's engagement, and you include actual receipts, texts, screenshots, even the bank statement showing that outrageous $5,100 charge, people pay attention. It started small, a few hundred views. Then it hit a Reddit thread, and from there, TikTok grabbed onto it. Within 24 hours, my channel went from 68K to 150K subscribers. The comments were an absolute wall of support. People saying, dude, this is brutal, I can't believe they did that, your sister is straight up evil, Jenna is a queen for standing by you, this hit harder than any family drama movie I've ever seen. Rachel's Instagram went private within 6 hours. My parents didn't post anything at all, not even their usual, nauseating Sunday brunch nonsense. The silence from them was deafening. But the family group chat? That was pure, unadulterated chaos. First, Dad's message: David, what is this? Take that video down now. Then Mom, this is deeply unfair. You're airing private family matters online. We were just trying to support Rachel. And then Rachel herself. A full-blown essay. You're disgusting for doing this. You made us look like monsters. You're twisting everything. That video is a complete betrayal. You know, I was planning my engagement for months. Not a single apology. Not a whisper of acknowledgement for what she'd done. Just pure, unadulterated rage that I dared to tell the truth. I didn't respond to any of them. That night, Jenna made pasta. We sat at the table, just us, like any regular Tuesday couple, except now she had a husband with a small cult following and a family scandal trending across 3 subreddits. You okay? She asked gently. I think so, I said, feeling a deep weariness. Just tired. Her next words hit me harder than she knew: I'm proud of you. Those words, they meant everything. The next few days were a blur of emails from old professors, messages from former coworkers, even a wedding photographer offering us a free do-over. But what really hit me, what truly broke through, was Grandpa. He called 2 days later, his voice trembling. "David," he said, "I watched the video." I braced myself, my stomach clenching. But then he continued, "I always suspected they favored Rachel, but this just broke my heart." I didn't say much, just listened to his quiet sorrow. "I want you to know," he added, "if I'd known how bad it was, if someone had told me, I would have said something. I should have said something years ago." The next day, he sent Jenna and me a wedding gift. A check for $5,000. With a note. "Use this for something that makes you happy, not them." I couldn't hold it back. I just sat there and cried. That weekend, Jenna and I desperately needed to escape. We booked 2 nights in a cabin up north. No Wi-Fi, no texts, just blessed quiet, towering trees, a cozy fireplace, and wine. It was the break we needed more than anything. Back home, though, things were starting to unravel for them, not us. One of Rachel's friends, who'd seen her engagement dinner posts, commented, "So, wait, you knew the wedding was that day, and you still chose that timing?" Another friend unfollowed her. Then another. Then a cousin. Her carefully curated circle started to spectacularly collapse. I heard from a relative, Mom's sister, actually, that there'd been a screaming match at a family brunch the following Sunday. Grandpa, God bless him, had called them out. Selfish and careless, he'd apparently roared. Mom, naturally, stormed out. Dad followed. Rachel, it was reported, dissolved into tears, claiming I'd manipulated the internet. Whatever that means. Meanwhile, Jenna and I just slipped back into real life. We went back to work, I kept making content. Then one night, about 2 weeks after the wedding, there was a tentative knock at the door. It was Dad. He looked utterly drained, older somehow, the weight of everything etched on his face. I just want to talk, David," he said, his voice flat. Jenna, sensing the tension, stayed quietly in the other room. I let him in, let him sit in the living room. He didn't even touch the glass of water I offered him. "I didn't know they were doing that," he started, his eyes on his hands. "I swear, I didn't say anything. I thought they were coming later. I thought they'd at least show up by dinner. Your mom said it was just a quick stop at Rachel's event." I didn't know. He trailed off, defeated. "But you saw the chairs, Dad," I said, my voice low. He nodded, a slow, heavy movement. "And you saw the bill?" He visibly flinched. "I told your mom not to use your card." I told her, but she did. Silence hung heavy between us. "Why didn't you call me?" I finally asked, the words a raw ache. "Why didn't you text, or even explain?" "I was ashamed," he said quietly, his gaze still fixed on his hands. I believed him. At least, partially. But it didn't matter anymore. "You let her do it," I said, my voice hardening. "All of it, 4 years. You let her treat me like an afterthought. You let Rachel take whatever she wanted. You never stopped it." "I know," he murmured, his voice barely a whisper. "And now it's too late." He finally looked up, his eyes meeting mine, filled with a profound, desolate sadness. "You can still be her father," I told him, "but you're not mine. Not anymore." He just sat there for a moment, then slowly rose. He didn't yell, didn't argue, just walked out the door like a man who had finally, truly realized what he had irrevocably lost. I haven't heard from him since. Jenna and I moved 3 months later. A brand new apartment, a fresh start. We framed one of our wedding pictures, just the 2 of us, bathed in the sunset, no crowd, no empty chairs. It was perfect. Sometimes, people still recognize me online. They'll say, "Hey, aren't you the guy from the wedding story?" I just smile. Yeah, I tell them, that was me. And I'm not ashamed. Because for the first time, I told my truth, and I chose peace. Even if it meant closing the door on people I once called family. It's been 9 months since that day. I haven't spoken to my mom since that vile text about using my credit card. She tried emailing once, around Christmas, a 3-line apology sandwiched between passive-aggressive jabs about how family should stay private and we all make mistakes. I didn't reply. Rachel went full radio silence, unfollowed me everywhere. Jenna's friend told us she actually postponed her own wedding plans indefinitely. Apparently, people started dropping from her guest list after the video went viral. She's calling it a spiritual break. I call it consequences. Dad hasn't reached out again, and honestly, that's fine. He made his choice the moment he sat in a restaurant eating crab cakes while his son stood alone in front of 47 empty chairs. People ask if I regret posting that video. Not for a single second. Because it wasn't about revenge. It was about reclaiming my voice. For too long, I let them rewrite my story. That I was too sensitive. That Rachel just had a big personality. That mom was just trying to help. That dad was caught in the middle. But no. That wasn't the truth.